The next set of namas from now on, 451th nama, will deal with Naranarayana avataram. 451th nama, Nirvritti dharma niratanam satam gatihi. Now, for those of them who are won over their senses, who are the sadhus, they come and converge in the Lord. So if you are won over a senses, you reach a certain status. Let us give the status of sadhu. There is not one, there are many. It is not in one place but in many places. People who have won over their senses, who have become sadhus at different points in time, at different place, mentally converge in the Lord. Since He is the one who is a fulcrum of convergence, He is called as Satam Gatihi, Nirvritta Dharma Niratanam Satam Gatihi. Next is Sarvadarshi, Sarvau Dvividhavapi Dharma Vyadhavyakshitum Sheelam Asyeti. So there are two kinds of dharmas, Pravritti and Nirvritti. So from Nivritti Dharma, you try to stay away. So when Nivritti Dharma comes, you start doing upayams which are less complicated, which start giving you the detachment and then leads you to moksham. Pravritti increases it, be it pravritti or nivritti. So he says, Dvividhavapi dharma vadhyakshayitum sheelam asyeti. For both kind of dharmas, he is the one who distributes himself and grants phalam. Next is 453rd nama, which is Nivrittatma Tatra Nivritti Dharmacharyo Naranarayanadihi Parama Vairagyakya Panaya Vishayebhyaha Patya Hritamanaha. So then he says, in the Nivritti Dharma, one of the essential attributes needed is Vairagyam. Ragam is love. Viragam is devoid of love, which is devoid of attachment, which is detachment. That quality develops into Vairagyam. In such a Nivritti Dharma, when the Vairagya develops, Naranarayana incarnate and become an exemplification, become an example to all the rishis and those aspirants that this is how Nivritti Dharma should be performed. Naranarayana Avatara is said to have happened in Badarikashramam in Uttarakhand. One of the earliest structures that we know of Naranarayana is found in Devgad. The temple in the middle of India is a beautiful example of how Agama Shastra was studied and integrated into temple architecture. One of the earliest forms of Naranarayana we see there. At the same time, the 5th century Andal, the saint poetess, mystic poetess of Tamil tradition tells, நாமமாயிரம் ஏத்த நின்ன நாராயணா நரனே உன்னை மாமீத்தன் மகனாக பெற்றாள் எமக்கு வாதை தவிருமே காமன் போதருக்காலமென்ன பங்குனி நாள் கடை பாரித்தோம் தீமை செய்யும் ஸ்ரீதரா எங்கள் சிற்றில் வந்து சிதையேலே. She mentions of நாமம் ஆயிரம் ஏத்த நின்ற, the one who is celebrated in நாமம் ஆயிரம். Namam is name. Ayiram in Tamil means 1000. So in the celebrated 1000 names, which is Sahasranamam, Namamayiram, who is celebrated? Etaninna Narayana Narane. Narayana Narane means Naranarayana who is celebrated. 1500 years before Andal mentioned this. 2000 years before this has been incorporated in the Devgad temple. Hence, adhering to all this, we find this nama here. Next is Sarvajnaha. Tatha Sarvatmanatmanam Janatiti Sarvajnaha. So, he is the Sarva Antaryami. We have discussed about Paraswarupa, Vyuha, Vibhava and dealt with various avatarams. We also need to intersperse it with Antaryami Tattvam. So he is the one who is the Antaryami. Tatha Sarvatmana Atmanam. So for all the Jivatmas, he is the Atma within it, which is the Antaryami. Janatiti Sarvajnaha. The one who gives the knowledge that he is the Atma to the Atmas is called Sarvajnaha. Next is Jnana Muttamam. Jnatesmin sarvaha paro Vaishnava dharmo iti jnanamuttamam. There are so many jnanas. Now which one to follow? Know all of them. Love one and follow that. Which is the best that the Vyakhyata, the commentator says, which is Vaishnava dharmam. What is Vaishnava dharmam? In one way, it could be the devotee of Vishnu. But the major important way is, if another person is suffering, genuinely suffering and we are unable to withstand, we want to go and help that person in kind or physically. In such a case, we are following Vaishnava Dharmam. Vaishnava Janato Tene Kahiye Je Pīd Parāyi Jane Re. Pīd Parāyi. So if someone else is suffering, I go just not sympathize, but I also empathize. So this concept of understanding somebody else's problem and helping out is Vaishnava Dharmam. Vaishnava Dharmam is a Uttamam. So he says, Jnanam Uttamam. The knowledge incurred by understanding the Uttama Dharmam, which is Vaishnava Dharmam, the Lord who bestows that knowledge is called as Jnanam Uttamam. The next Nama is 456th Nama, which is Suvrataha. Kevala Pararthatvatu Shobhanam Vratam Asya Iti Suvrataha. He follows Dharma first. For example, if he wants people to follow, he will follow the Dharma first. He will practice and then only preach. So for the one who speaks about Dharmas, follows it first and then gives a lecture, is called as Suvrataha.